It happens before you've said a single word to anyone. You wake up, and there it is. That thick, sticky feeling sitting at the back of your throat. So you clear it. That little sound, the one you've made 10,000 times. Then an hour later, you do it again. After lunch, again. By the time the day is over, you've cleared your throat more times than you could ever count. And here is the part almost nobody tells you. The things you are doing to get rid of that mucus are the exact things keeping it there. I'm going to say that again, because it's the whole video. The habits you reach for to fix this feeling are, for most people, the habits feeding it. Tonight, if you do any of the 5 things I'm about to walk you through, there's a good chance your throat feels worse tomorrow, not better. Not because your body is broken, because the usual advice for this is aimed at the wrong place. But I'm not going to leave you with just the problem. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, simple plan, the exact steps in order that actually let your throat clear on its own. No gimmicks, no sprays, just the mechanism, and then the fix. So let me give you the time a short appointment never has. We'll take these one at a time, slowly. And by the end, you'll understand your own throat better than most quick visits ever explain it. One honest note before we start. Walk down any pharmacy aisle and you'll find a whole shelf of sprays and syrups for exactly this feeling. Most of them quiet the sensation for a few hours and send you back next week. That isn't some grand conspiracy. It's simpler than that. Relief sells more reliably than a fix. So let me hand you the fix instead. Mistake number 1. The throat clear itself. This is the one nearly everyone does, and it's the one that surprises people most. You feel the mucus. You clear your throat to move it. For half a second, it feels better. So your brain quietly files that away as the solution. It is not the solution, it's the engine. Here's what actually happens inside your throat when you force that hard clearing sound. You slam your vocal cords together at high speed, and you drag a rush of air violently across the lining of your throat. That lining is delicate living tissue. Researchers studying chronic cough and throat clearing describe it plainly. Repeated throat clearing acts as a mechanical stimulus on the airway. In plain language, every hard clear is a tiny scrape against an already sensitive surface. And irritated tissue does exactly one thing. It protects itself by making more mucus. So follow the loop with me. You clear to remove the mucus. The clearing irritates the lining. The irritated lining makes more mucus, which you then feel. So you clear again. You are not failing to win this fight. You're feeding it. Think of it like a patch of dry skin on the back of your hand. It itches. You scratch it. For a moment, relief. Then the skin gets angrier, and it itches more, so you scratch again. The scratching never solves the itch. It is the itch's best friend. Your throat clear is the same trap, just in a place you can't see. So here's your first fix, and you can start it this very second. When you feel that urge to clear, don't. Instead, swallow firmly, or take a small sip of water and swallow that. A swallow clears the sensation the gentle way your throat was actually designed for, without the scrape. Every time you trade a clear for a swallow, the lining gets a chance to heal. You'll catch yourself constantly at first, that's fine, just keep swapping. Quick one. Type the word me in the comments if you clear your throat without even thinking about it. I want to see how many of us this is. Mistake number 2. Reaching for the decongestant spray. This one feels so logical. Your throat is full of mucus, your nose feels stuffy, so you grab one of those little nasal sprays. The first time, it's almost magic. Within minutes you can breathe, and the back of your throat feels clearer. So you use it again the next night, and the night after that. Here's the trap built right into those bottles. The common over-the-counter decongestant sprays work by squeezing the blood vessels in your nose so the swollen tissue shrinks. That's why you breathe better so fast. But your nose does not like being squeezed for long. When the spray wears off, those same vessels swell back open, and often they swell wider than before. The Mayo Clinic and the Cleveland Clinic both describe this clearly. Use these sprays past about 3 days, and you can develop a condition with a long name. Rhinitis medicamentosa, rebound congestion, meaning congestion caused by the very spray meant to cure it. So now your nose is stuffier than when you started. What do you reach for? More spray. The cycle tightens. Picture a spring under your thumb. You press it down, and it gets small and tidy. That's the relief. But the second you lift your thumb, it snaps back, and it springs back even taller than it sat before. Each press buys a shorter window of calm and a bigger rebound. That's your nasal lining on repeat decongestant spray. And here's how it reaches your throat. A swollen, rebounding nose drips more mucus down the back of your throat all day and all night. So the spray you bought to dry things up is, after a few days, making the drainage down your throat worse. Here's the fix, but please do it carefully. If you've been using one of these sprays for weeks, do not just stop everything cold and panic when your nose blocks up. That temporary worsening is expected, and there's a calmer way down. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about tapering off slowly, and about gentle swaps like a simple saline rinse, which thins and flushes mucus without the rebound. Never stop or change a medication on your own based on a video, mine included. Mistake number 3, cutting out dairy because you heard it makes mucus. This belief is everywhere. Someone with a chronically gunky throat is almost always told the same thing. Stop the milk, stop the cheese, dairy makes phlegm. So they give up foods they enjoy, sometimes for years, waiting for the throat to clear. And it doesn't, because they're fighting a ghost. Here is the reality, and it's well studied. In a controlled trial, researchers took healthy adults, deliberately gave them a common cold virus, and carefully tracked both their milk intake and the actual amount of mucus their noses produced. The result? No real link. Milk drinkers did not produce more mucus. A respiratory review in the journal Archives of Disease in Childhood reached the same conclusion and put it bluntly. The milk and mucus idea needs to be firmly retired. So why does milk feel like it coats your throat? Because it does coat your throat for a moment. Milk is creamy. That creaminess leaves a thick film across your tongue and throat that you can feel for a few seconds after you swallow. Your brain reads that thick feeling as mucus. But here's the part that's almost funny. The very people who believed milk caused mucus were the ones who reported the most symptoms. Even though their bodies made no extra mucus at all, the belief created the feeling. The milk didn't. Now here is why this mistake actually costs you. It's not just that cutting dairy is unnecessary. It's that it sends you chasing the wrong target for years. Every month you spend blaming the cheese is a month you're not addressing what's truly driving the mucus. A quick myth to reality, so it sticks. The myth: milk thickens the mucus in your throat. The reality: milk briefly coats your throat, the coating fades in seconds, and your mucus glands never got the message. The fix here is the simplest of all 5. Stop avoiding dairy for this reason. Eat normally. Put that effort where it actually works, and we're getting to where that is. If a food clearly upsets your stomach, skip it, of course. But you do not need to give up milk to clear your throat. Tell me in the comments, did anyone ever tell you to give up dairy for this? I genuinely want to see how common that advice is out there. Quick pause, just between us. You and I both know your last appointment didn't sound like this. Nobody had 15 minutes to walk you through the actual mechanism. If you want more explanations that take the time, subscribe and tap the like. That's honestly the whole engine that keeps this channel running. Now, mistake number 4, and this is the one most people have never even considered. Mistake number 4, not drinking nearly enough water. This one sounds almost too simple to matter, but it's quietly one of the biggest. As people get older, 2 things tend to happen together. The sense of thirst gets fainter, so you simply don't feel thirsty as often, and many people deliberately drink less, often to avoid extra trips to the bathroom. So day after day, you're running a little dry, and your throat pays the bill. Here's the mechanism. Your nose and throat make mucus constantly. This is normal and healthy. The glands there produce somewhere between 1 and 2 quarts of mucus every single day, according to the Cleveland Clinic. You're meant to swallow it without ever noticing. It moistens the air you breathe and traps the dust and germs you inhale. When you're well hydrated, that mucus stays thin and slippery, and it slides down quietly. You never feel it. But when you're even mildly dry, that same mucus turns thick and tacky. Now it doesn't glide, it clings to the back of your throat. And what do you do when something clings there? You clear it, which, as you already learned, only irritates the lining and triggers more. Picture a river running low in late summer. The river carries the same silt it always did, but with less water moving it along. that silt stops flowing and settles into thick sludge on the bottom. Your throat mucus is the same. It was never about making less mucus. It's about keeping it thin enough to move on its own. So here's your fix, and it's almost free. Sip water steadily through the day instead of gulping a lot at once. Keep a glass within reach so it's easy. Warm drinks help many people because the warmth and steam loosen things further. And if you've been cutting fluids to avoid the bathroom at night, simply front-load your water earlier in the day and ease off in the evening. That keeps your throat thin without keeping you up. Drinking more water doesn't add mucus. It loosens what's already stuck, so your throat can clear it the natural way. Mistake number 5. Eating late and lying down soon after. This is the big one, the one that ties everything together, and it's the cause most people never suspect because the symptom shows up in the throat while the problem sits in the stomach. Here's the everyday version. You have dinner a little late, maybe a snack on the couch after that. Then, within an hour or two, you lie down in your chair or in bed. And while you sleep, something rises that you can't feel. The medical name is laryngopharyngeal reflux. Let me translate it. It's often called silent reflux, where a small amount of stomach contents travels up past the food pipe and reaches the throat. And here's the word that matters most: silent. Unlike classic heartburn, this kind of reflux usually causes no burning in your chest at all. The Cleveland Clinic notes that many people with this throat-irritating reflux feel none of the usual reflux symptoms, so you'd never connect it to your stomach in 100 years. All you feel is the result, a raw, irritated throat that keeps making mucus to defend itself. Think of your stomach when you're upright as a cup standing on a table. The contents sit safely at the bottom, well below the rim. Now lie down flat. The cup is on its side. Anything near the top can spill toward the opening. That's your stomach when you eat late and lie down, and the opening points straight up toward your throat. Now connect this to the whole chain. The reflux irritates your throat overnight. The irritated throat makes more mucus. In the morning, you feel that thick mucus and clear your throat hard, scraping the already raw lining. You might reach for a spray, which after a few days drips more down the back. And you've been blaming the cheese the whole time. 5 mistakes, all feeding one another, all pointing away from the real source. This is why people spend years treating their nose, their allergies, their diet, and never touch the actual driver sitting one floor down. And the fix here is the one that changes the most for the most people. We'll build it into the plan in just a minute, and it costs you nothing but timing. If mistake number 5 just made something click for you, comment the word 5 below. I read these, and it tells me I'm on the right track for you. So let's put the right model in your hands. Once you see it, all 5 mistakes make sense at once, and so does the fix. Your throat is not a passive tube. It has a thin, moving layer of mucus that works like a slow escalator. Tiny hairs, far too small to see, sweep a delicate film of cleaning gel steadily upward and out. The real name is the mucociliary escalator, your throat's built-in conveyor that carries trapped dust, germs, and old mucus up and away quietly all day long. When it's working, you feel nothing at all. That escalator only causes you trouble in 2 situations. The first is when something keeps dripping an irritant onto it. That irritant might be silent reflux rising from below. It might be a genuine postnasal drip from above that's mucus draining down the back of your throat from your nose and sinuses, which the Cleveland Clinic describes as one of the most common reasons for a throat that won't settle. Either way, the escalator responds the only way it knows how. It lays down more gel to protect the surface. More mucus. The second is when the gel itself dries out and turns to glue. That's dehydration. Now the escalator is trying to move sludge instead of a thin film, and it stalls. The mucus pools right where you can feel it. So look at what every real fix has in common. You either turn off the thing dripping onto the escalator, the reflux, the postnasal flow, or you thin the gel back out so it moves on its own. That's it. That's the entire game. And notice what's not on the list: clearing harder, spraying more, or giving up milk. Those were never aimed at the escalator at all. If that escalator picture finally made this make sense, comment escalator so I know it landed. That little image is the whole key. So now let's build your plan. This is the part to write down or come back to. We go in order, top to bottom, because the order matters. Step 1. Retire the hard throat clear. This is the single most important change, and the hardest because it's a reflex. When you feel the urge, do not force the cough clear. Instead, swallow firmly. If you have water, take a small sip and swallow that. If you don't, just do a deliberate dry swallow or hum a low, gentle note for a couple of seconds and then swallow. The hum nudges your vocal cords apart, and the swallow carries the mucus down the way it's meant to go. No scraping. Every single clear you replace with a swallow lets the lining calm down. Give this 2 weeks of honest effort before you judge it. Step 2. Thin the mucus with water, steadily. Keep a glass in reach and sip through the day rather than drinking a lot at once. Warm drinks, plain warm water, herbal tea, broth loosen things even more. Front load earlier in the day if nighttime bathroom trips are your concern. This is the cheapest, gentlest lever you have, and most people skip it entirely. Step 3. And this is the one that fixes the silent driver. Change the timing of your last meal. Try to finish eating at least 3 hours before you lie down. Not 3 minutes, 3 hours. Give your stomach time to empty before the cup tips on its side. Keep that last meal smaller and go easy on the late-night snack on the couch. Many people get real relief by also raising the head of the bed a few inches, a couple of sturdy blocks under the bedposts, or a wedge so gravity keeps things pointed down and away from your throat all night long. This one change on its own turns a lot of mornings around. Step 4. If you've been leaning on a decongestant nasal spray, plan your exit with a professional. Don't quit cold and brace for the rebound. Ask about stepping off it gradually, and about a saline rinse instead, salt water that thins and flushes mucus without the rebound trap. A saline rinse is one of the few things you can safely add freely. Step 5. Stop fighting the dairy ghost. Eat normally and put that energy where it actually counts on the meal timing and the water. If a specific food clearly bothers you, skip it. But don't sacrifice years to a myth. And one bonus lever, if your air is dry. In winter or with the heating running, the air in your home can dry your throat out overnight no matter how much you drink. A small humidifier by the bed or even a bowl of water near the radiator can keep that escalator moist while you sleep. So if you want to start tonight before this video is even over, here's the short version. Finish eating at least 3 hours before bed. Sip a glass of warm water this evening. Raise the head of your bed if you can. And the very next time you feel that urge to clear your throat, swallow instead. That's it. 4 things tonight, none of them cost $1. Now, what should you expect and when? Because this is where people give up too early. Week 1 is mostly about the throat clear. As you swap clearing for swallowing, the constant low-grade irritation starts to calm. You may not notice less mucus yet. What you'll notice first is less rawness, less of that scratchy, tickly urge. That's the lining beginning to recover. By week 2, if you've moved your dinner earlier and raised the head of your bed, the morning gunk is usually the next thing to ease. Mornings are when silent reflux shows its hand, so a quieter, clearer morning throat is a strong signal you found your real driver. By around week 4, for many people, the whole pattern settles into something much milder and far less constant. Not always gone completely, some throat mucus is normal and healthy, remember, but no longer running your day. And here's the honest part. If you do all of this carefully for a month and your throat is no better or it's getting worse, that itself is useful information. It means it's time to be checked properly, not to push harder on home steps. Quick check-in. If you're going to try this for a month, comment "I'm in" below, and honestly, saying it out loud makes people far more likely to stick with it. Which brings me to the part of this video you must not skip. Most throat mucus is harmless and annoying, but a handful of signs mean you stop the self-help and see a doctor soon, not eventually. See a clinician if you notice any of these: blood in the mucus or coughing up blood, trouble swallowing or pain when you swallow, a hoarse, rough voice that lasts more than a couple of weeks, a lump or swelling in your neck that doesn't go away, symptoms clearly on one side only, unexplained weight loss, or mucus along with a fever that won't break. None of these mean the worst, but all of them deserve a real exam, because the only way to rule out the serious causes is to look, and that's something no video can do for you. Please don't wait on these. Before I close, I want to know who I'm writing for. Tell me your decade in the comments. Are you in your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, or beyond? Drop it below and it genuinely changes what I cover next, because after a certain age, the silent reflux piece becomes far more common, And I want to know how many of you that applies to. So let's bring it home. The mucus in your throat is rarely a mucus problem. It's a signal. It's your throat's escalator either being dripped on from above or below, or running too dry to move. The 5 habits, the hard clearing, the rebound spray, the dairy ghost, the missing water, and the late dinner, they don't fix that signal. They feed it. So do the opposite. Move your dinner earlier, sip your water, swallow instead of clearing, step off the spray with help, and stop blaming the milk. Give it a month, watch for those warning signs, and let your throat do what it was always built to do quietly, on its own. I'll see you in the next one.